Okay, so let's take a closer look. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this video that you're watching currently, you know what this video is, but this is my second time filming it.
The first time I filmed this was about 6 months ago, and recently, about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was on vacation and I wanted to edit the video because, you know, I'm lazy and sometimes I come out of that laziness and I tend to do that thing. And so I was editing it and I realized I did not like the video at all. The thing is that the video that I filmed already, I filmed for like 2 hours. I was like trying to cut it down and also posting like 2 different parts because it was a large video. But you know what? I scrapped it in the end and here I am filming it again.
And this video, as you know, it is just like a guide to probably one of my most favorite book series of all time, which is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Oh god, no. So here it is. And so to like start off, the Percy Jackson fandom, I was actually kind of scared because here's the thing about that video. I was originally gonna post it a few days after I filmed it. So I filmed it in like August, I'm pretty sure, and I was gonna post it on the 18th of August, which if you don't know, it's the birthday of the main character, Percy Jackson, canonically. And you know, that date went by, I didn't edit it. So I was like, oh well, the next 6th book is gonna come out next month, so I'm gonna probably post it then. That didn't happen. I did get the book and I did finish reading it, and I filmed a reading vlog for that book as well. Yeah, and I just never got around to it. And then I was kind of sick for a month or 2, so I did post videos during that time, but they weren't these videos because I had some other videos that I needed to post before these videos, and so that happened. And then on the 25th of December, if you don't know, the Percy Jackson and Olympians TV show came out, which I am so happy for. I'm gonna talk about that at the end of the video as well. I'm gonna do a review about it. But basically, I was like, maybe I'll post it on the release date. That did not happen, and after that I went on vacation, and then I was like, you know what, we have to post this video now. Started like almost editing the first part, like finished almost editing the first part, and I was like, I don't like that video like at all. And so here I am filming it once again because I felt like the first time I did it, I had like no direction. I don't have any hope that I will have direction this time either, but hopefully this is better. Anyway, so now putting away the long intro, Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Currently, it's a 6-book series. Can you believe that? The first time I filmed this, I only had 5 books on hand. Now I have 6. But anyway, so Percy Jackson and the Olympians, as I said, it's a middle grade fantasy, like not urban fantasy, Greek mythology-esque book series, which started publishing in 2005. Now, originally, the series ended in 2009 with the first 5 books, Percy Jackson. Oh god. It's not funny, I hate it. So it stopped publishing in 2009 with the like first 5 books, and those were Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Now I'm gonna tell you a little bit about this book to get you like a bit of introduction about what this series is about. I'm not gonna go much into the other books because I feel like it's gonna be spoilery if you haven't read, and I might post a second part to this video with like spoilers and what I liked in the series and what I did not. So yeah, but I will tell you when we have spoilers, but now there are no spoilers. But yeah, the first book, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. The second one, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. Third one, Percy Jackson and the Titan's Curse. Fourth one, Percy Jackson and the Battle of the Labyrinth. And finally, the 5th one, Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian. Now, these first 5 books were published consecutively every year. After the series, these 5 books, it's followed up by another 5 books, and the series called Heroes of Olympus. I haven't technically read the series. I do know what happens in it. I'm not going to spoil any of it though. But I'm very excited to read that series as well. And after that, there is the Charles of Apollo. There's a lot of books in this like Rick Riordan-verse, which is what we call this like universe of mythology-based books, which are like all intertwined. There's so many other series, and actually the Kane Chronicles, which is also one of the Rick Riordan-verse series, is actually one of my favorites. It's up there with Percy Jackson. Maybe I'll make a video of it one day. We'll see. But either way, the sixth book, however, was part of a marketing scheme kind of for the TV show that came out. As I mentioned, there's a new TV show on Disney Plus. Now, currently when I'm filming this, there is currently 5 episodes out, and there's total 8 episodes. So yeah, and when he initially announced this book, he was like, we'll see if readers enjoy these books, because the first 5 books, they kind of lead up to something. So this is kind of different, and also this takes place after the Heroes Olympus. You don't have to technically read it, in my opinion. It doesn't really spoil anything for Heroes Olympus. Personally for me, it didn't. But it does take place after those 5 books, and so there's kind of an age gap. There's kind of a little bit of age gap between The Last Olympian and this book. Now after this book was published, he did in fact come out and say that there's going to be 2 other books. The next book, the 7th book, has been announced. The name is if I'm not wrong, it's the 3-headed goddess, which is Hecate. I'm very excited for it. I'll tell you why. But let's rewind and get back to the first book, which is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Now this book follows Percy Jackson. Obviously, he is 12 years old and he goes to Yancey Academy for troubled kids. Now this is now he considers himself a troubled kid mainly because he has ADHD and dyslexia. So he has a tough time at school because of these two, and he also he gets expelled out of every school he's been to. ENC is the longest he's been at any school, and he's almost reached to the end of the school year. Now he has one friend, Grover, there, and they're really adorable. Now the book starts off with his class going to a field trip to the Metropolitan Museum. He's there with 2 teachers, one of them being his favorite teacher, Mr. Berner, who is his Latin teacher, and the other being his least favorite teacher, Mrs. Dodds, who is his algebra teacher. Now, on this field trip, he somehow accidentally, he has some rivalry with this one girl, who's his bully, called Nancy, and during the field trip, he kind of accidentally sort of pushes her into the fountain, where he doesn't actually push her. She somehow gets engulfed by the fountain. It's very vague. You have to read to find out how and why that happens. And so he gets called aside by his algebra teacher, who's obviously mad at him. And obviously she's his least favorite teacher. And his algebra teacher turns into a weird sort of monster. And he, in an effort to fight her, vaporizes her. He vaporizes her. That's the first chapter, that he vaporizes his algebra teacher. And after this happens, he goes to Mr. Berner. He's like, Mrs. Dodds is a monster, she is completely disappeared. And Mr. Berner tells him who is Mrs. Dodds? We don't have a teacher named Mrs. Dodds. So Percy is really confused by all of these. Now Percy has always had these sort of weird things going on in his life, throughout his life. So he's just he's thinking what is happening and all. Later on this book, we find out that Percy is actually a half-blood or a demigod, meaning that he's the son of a human and a Greek god. We also find out that the Greek gods are still alive, and this whole Greek empire that is there is still alive and well. It just moves around with the civilization that is in power. And we also find out that there are other demigods like him, many more, and they are actually not safe in this world because they attract monsters, and they most of the time end up dead very young because of these monsters. Now, there is a place safe for these demigods from these monsters, and that is Camp Half-Blood. So Percy goes to Camp Half-Blood, which is like a summer camp, but you can stay all year round. And he goes there and he learns how to handle his current situation as a demigod. Things start going wrong, and Percy finds himself being the prime suspect for something stolen, and that something stolen is Zeus's lightning bolt, his like most powerful object. It's his, I forgot what it's called. I'm so sorry. But basically Zeus is very mad at him. He thinks Percy is the one who stole it, and Percy might as well end up dead if he doesn't find the bolt. And so the first book is him going on a quest along with his friends to find the bolt. Find the lightning bolt and also return it before Zeus starts a war between the gods. So that's the books. They and obviously on the terms of this, there's a lot of things about prophecies. That's one of the things that ties the first 5 books together. And so we follow it up by The Sea of Monsters, which is a lot of people's least favorite book. I don't get it why, because it's also like my second favorite book. I personally love this book a lot. Then we have obviously The Titan's Curse. People love this book. So yeah, now that's basically what the series is about. I haven't mentioned that many characters, but we also have, let me just give you an introduction. So we have Sally Jackson, who is Percy's mother. She is probably the sweetest person you can meet. She is amazing, she's kind, she's everything.
She's got a point, she's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now come on now.
We also have Grover, who, he is something, okay? He is Percy's best friend, as we saw at ENC Academy, but we also see how he ties into this Greek world. We also have Annabeth, who we meet later on in the book, who is one of the people who comes on Percy's quest alongside of him, and she is also a demigod. She's the demigod child of Athena, who is the goddess of wisdom and battle strategy. So those are like one of the main characters. Now for the ranking of the books according to me. Now the 5th position is The Lightning Thief. Now I know this is not my least favorite book, it's just not my most favorite in the series, and if I had to go ahead and read the entire series based off of how much I like this, I wouldn't have continued the whole series. But obviously I brought the box. I knew I was gonna like the series, that's why I continued it, but this was definitely not one of my favorites in the series. I have to say, but obviously this is still one of my favorite books of all time. It's just not my favorite in the series. The 3rd one, again, is gonna make a lot of people mad, but I don't care. That is The Titan's Curse. I don't know how to rank this, because honestly I love every single one of these books. This is cute as well. I loved it. I did. I don't know why I ranked this. It's not low. It's definitely not. But I like the other books even more, This is not something I would go back to, because this also has a lot of tragicness to it. So, yeah. And I know, again, people will be mad that I ranked this so high, but I love this book, okay? We get to see Clarice even more in this book, and the second book, Sea of Monsters. I know people hate it. This will be their 5th, at the bottom of their list, but you know what? I like it a lot. I love the guinea pig scene a lot. So here it is. Now the 1st and 2nd, I can never choose because I love these both books equally. I'll go with The Lightning Thief first. It's amazing. What can I say? It is amazing. I love it, bro. I do. And then I don't know, I like this a little bit more, and that is The Battle of the Labyrinth. I feel like this book, you could see clearly everybody's fatal flaw, and I just really like it a lot. And we also get to see Tyson a lot in this book, which we don't get to see Tyson so much. So whichever book he shows up in, it's already one of my favorites. So, really like this as well. Now, I have to say, And now for the Chalice of the Gods. I actually do like it more than these. Now, I did film a reading log / review for this book, so stay tuned for that as well. But I really do like it. Is it as high stakes as these books? It's really not. It's more laid back. But if you're looking for more of like characters, interactions, just cutesy little moments, this is it, bro. This is it. This is so good as well. But I why haven't they released this? It's like I pre-ordered this, so this is what I get. It's fine though. It's literally, it's like, I feel like it's the size of a textbook. It has the the most humongous. Oh wow, it's here. Oh, it has the most humongous font as well, but it's fine. Right, it's really fine. I was gonna tap this, but then I was like, whatever. But I did like underline and stuff. But yeah, the seventh book is, as I said, the something three-headed goddess. I'm really excited for it because I know the three-headed goddess is Hecate, who at the start of like reading these books, she was who I considered to be my godly parent, because I was also a Potterhead, and so her being my godly parent kind of tied in to me being a witch. Don't ask me, I was a little bit crazy back then, but yeah, that's that. Now, to why you should read it and why it's one of my favorite series. Firstly, I think this is not something people mention a lot, but middle grade in general, if you're looking for individual character relationships and stuff like that, you don't get a lot of it in middle grade. You might get a bit of romance here and there, but that's it. But when it comes to parental relationships or just friends in general, these books do such a good job at it, and you can see it clearly in the Chalice of Gods. They're so well developed. And Rick Riordan as a whole, he writes characters so well. I just you feel like at the end of the book, you just feel like you know these people in general, and that's why I love these books. The characters are great. Their relationships and their character development is so well done. And yeah, one of the things, yeah. And the next thing is world building. He does it very seamlessly, and we get more and more lore as we get into the books. Obviously, Greek mythology is very vast, so we get bits and pieces here and there as we go on, and I just really like it. It's middle grade. How intense could it be? It's really nicely done. He blends the modern world into ancient Greek mythology really well, and that's one of the things that makes this series stand out more than other middle grade fantasy books. It's how he just makes it so realistic that you're like, oh, that makes sense, right? If the Greek gods are still around, this is how they would act, or this is how they would dress, and it's just really nice. The next thing is Percy's inner monologue, or Percy as the main character in general. I've seen that a lot of people generally don't like fantasy like protagonists, but Percy has always been a lot of people's favorite like protagonist, and there's a reason why. He comes off as your average 12-year-old or your average teenager. He's relatable in ways that other main characters aren't, and you could tell that the author knows kids in general because of how he portrays them, their humor, etc. And that's very well showcased in these books. Percy isn't like serious most of the times. You would be in these deadly situations, and you would think, like, if you're looking from other people's point of view, you're like, oh my god, Percy's doing this, Percy's doing that, he's having so much in his head. And you get to Percy's point of view, which is what you read from, and you see him just doing it like it just happened. He's just like, it just happened, bro. It just did. I didn't do anything, and I just went along with it. And he's both sassy, he has this nice humor, and he has this self-awareness, and the main trait that makes people like him as a main character, which is his loyalty and his compassion to others. He wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice himself for his friends, and he wouldn't hesitate to, hurt someone for his friends. And all of this just, I feel like, just ties up as a like recipe to create a great series. And all of his friends, the two other characters, I feel like complement his characteristics pretty well. And when you mix them up, you just get one of the greatest trios. I don't know what this trio's name is though. Like, what is it? But yeah, so yeah, and also this series, when I read it, I was not well, like health wise, and so these kept me company during that time, and so I think this is also a reason why I have a special place for them in my heart. And yeah, I just really like them. They have such great found family vibes, so if you're looking for that, this is definitely it. Like the whole Camp Half-Blood, it's just like that. It's really nice. It's really nice. And the Found Family, you can, like, I'm just saying, I'm like trying to convince you to read out until the sixth book, because the Found Family in this, like, this is just cute moment after cute moment after cute moment between Percy, his parents. Like, again, like, you don't get to see parents of middle grade protagonists so many times, but he has one, and he has one that cares for him. Like, tell me, how many do you have that, like, his own parents that care for him, not like adopted parents? Like, you don't see that often in fantasy in general, but you know, Rick Riordan found his way around it, so okay. And the last thing is Percival. That's it. There is no explanation to it, just that. Yeah, so if you didn't get the idea, I do love these books a lot. Yeah, I like think about them. Oh, and recently I found a like Percival like file online, just their lines. That's it, and it's the best thing ever. Hope you liked this video. If you did, smash that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.